Hey, GenderqueerChat, Joe here. It is Fridays with Joe, and this week's topic is a good one. I haven't actually thought much about it though, and I didn't get a chance to watch anybody else's video this week, so I'm coming at it kind of blind, and we'll see how that goes. The subject is, do other people's perceptions of your gender identity bother you? Does it motivate you to express yourself in ways that you might not otherwise think of expressing yourself? That's a heavy question. Do other people's perceptions of your gender identity bother you? Yes, it kind of bothers me when people mistake me for a girl. Kind of. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't. I'm just going to take these off because they're glaring. It probably. I get mistaken for a girl all the time. Mistaken, I say, because I get perceived as female all the time. And it's not 100% a mistake, but it's a mistake when people start presuming that I am part of the binary, and they start behaving or talking to me in a way that indicates I'm binary oriented. I was just joking with my sister the other day because we were at a family function. It's kind of family through marriage, so a lot of them didn't know us, and they said she kept referring to me as her sibling, and I really appreciate that. I prefer to be called my sister's sibling rather than her sister. But if she calls me her sister, that doesn't bother me. Stanley. And it doesn't bother me completely. I just prefer sibling, just like I prefer Joe. Although, actually, I really don't like my birth name. But I guess people's perceptions... Let me just put my glasses back on. Do people's perceptions of your gender identity bother you? Well, my gender identity is genderqueer. And how if people perceive me... perceptions of my perception of me being genderqueer, that doesn't bother me at all. If they see me as genderqueer, or if they have a problem with the fact that I identify as genderqueer, that doesn't bother me at all. That is really none of their business. It's just, it doesn't impact my life. It's like, my religion or my lack of it, or the way I dress, or like, I don't know. It's just nobody's business how I perceive myself, right? Does it motivate me to express myself in ways that I might not otherwise think of expressing myself? I think I just naturally express myself the way I think I'm a pretty authentic person who just... Oh, Stanley. Let me just grab the treats, because that's what he's after. I think I just express myself the way I do. And I always have, and I always will, and I don't think it's too much effort on my part to be that way, to make people think a certain thing, or... It's fairly authentic. I guess I am a bit of a ham. I'm a Leo. I think sometimes when I'm in the company of guys, I kind of ham it up. I'm a little more vulgar. I probably swear a little more to maybe get it through to them that I'm not one of the girls, that they can treat me more like one of the guys. Like today I was at work, and I was talking to a woman for a long time. The server was not working properly, and I couldn't do what I needed to do because the server was off. The files were corrupted. And she and I were talking for probably an hour about how some of the guys... She previously worked at a different school, and one of the technicians was really, really rude to her, and she had a sensation it was sexist. The sensation was he was talking down to her because she was a woman, and that's not surprising in my department at all. That is the way a lot of those guys do treat women. And I was really I felt bad for her, and she kept saying things like, well, we understand because we're empathetic females. And she was saying things like that. And I was kind of agreeing with her because I'm much more empathetic than my male colleagues. But at one point, I kind of had to come out to her. At one point, she was kind of like erring too much on the side of female camaraderie, because I'm not female, and I don't 100% relate to what she's saying all the time. And I was telling her the story about my crush, and how I told him that I had gender identity issues, and how I think he thinks he doesn't know what to think because I didn't explain it. And I think he's of an era where that doesn't mean what necessarily it means nowadays. And anyway, we were kind of laughing about it. But how she perceived me as female and started talking to me as if I was one of the girls. And that happens from time to time. And it is strange to me, although... my personality really is extremely on the warm and friendly side. Like, if you met me in real life, you'd be shocked at just how nice I am. Like, you'd think, she doesn't even really know me that well. Why is she treating me that nicely? I just am that way to strangers. I like people. I like talking to people. And a lot of the customers where I work very take a warmth to me, take a shine to me, because I'm very, very nice to them. And as a result, people really open up to me. And a lot of people do tell me things that I'm surprised. Like, within the first 5 or 10 minutes of the conversation, they're telling me really, really, he's really a treat monster. They're telling me, real details of their life. And I didn't ask you to tell me the sort of details of her life, but people do, because of just the nature of my personality. And I think that openness and that kindness, I'm not a terrifically kind person, but I have a kind nature, I guess. That is typically considered a female behavior. And actually, I was thinking, I saw something online one time about how female Facebook profile pictures are always smiling, like 98% of them or something, and something like 70% of male profile pictures on Facebook are not. Men think they look better when they don't smile, and women think they look better when they do. And I definitely think I look better when I smile. I mean, I don't put moody pictures of, like, on Facebook. No, it's just not my nature. But let me go back to the question. This is a way harder question than I thought it was going to be. I probably should have thought about it more before I made the video. Does it motivate me to express myself in ways that I might not otherwise think of expressing myself? A lot of guys at work are, as I've said in previous videos, are extremely sexist. And I don't mean that in a, like, hey, sweetheart kind of way. But fundamentally, I guess, like, these guys really do bring up gender repeatedly as if it's the only thing that matters. And I find myself really, really, really motivated to kind of tell them to knock it off, to change the subject, to try to change them off that freaking track of action, of thought, because it's like they're fixated on it. It's like, I don't know, when you throw, you'll see the way guys behave. I once was in the room and they didn't know I was in the room, and I heard the way they were talking to each other. And the minute they knew I was in the room, the conversation completely changed. The tone changed, the way, if they knew a woman was overhearing, or what they perceived to be a woman overhearing. Stanley, why are you being noisy? I'm sure you can hear the purring. It really bothered me. It bothers me a lot that I am perceived female. I just wish, I know Ricky's mentioned this in videos, and I think there were some other genderqueer chatters over the years. Gender is who I'm not. Like, it's not, I don't think of it as something, like, you have to sort of perceive me as genderqueer and now treat me appropriately. It's like, I wish you just didn't perceive gender at all. I wish it didn't factor into the conversation, and I wish I didn't have to correct you when you start fixating on gender, and I wish I didn't have to steer the conversation or try, I do like taking opportunities to educate people into, like, today this woman was great because I did use the word genderqueer. Oh, Stanley. Wow, he's on fire. I did explain to this woman about gender, non-gender binary thinking, and she was making a face, and actually what we were talking about was, I said, if you had a sexual partner or a boyfriend that you were crazy about, and before having sex at some point they revealed to you that they didn't have a penis, that they were pre-op or non-op, and how would you feel about that? And she kind of made a face, and I said to her, the fact that you're making the face would indicate probably not, you're probably not okay with that. A lot of people do have very defined sexuality, myself included. But she was funny. She said, no. She goes, that's not the case. She goes, I'm actually just thinking because it is so out of I've never thought about these things in my life. That has never even crossed my mind. And honestly, I don't know what I would do. And I said, interesting, because I know what I would do. And it was, it kind of opened her mind to a different way of thinking. And then after we kind of talked about that for a while, she was kind of back on the track of, I should pursue this guy I like, and like you should probably, not be so, she was telling me I should email him and kind of, I don't know, be more female, I guess is the way she was implying. And I said to her, I'm not going to be somebody I'm not in the name of snagging a man. Like, that is insane in my brain. That just does not jive. That's not who I am, and I've never been that way, and I never will. And she just kind of, I think a lot of people who live in the gender binary world and have notions about how you snag yourself a mate, you do it up, you girl it up to snag a man, and men kind of, mail it up or whatever the term is to, to snag a woman at in during mating season, And I don't live in that world, so it's not my reality. I hope I answered the question to the best of my ability. It was a little bit challenging this week. As you may know, we have many more chatters now. We have 3 new members, so you probably get 10 videos a week if you're watching GenderqueerChat. Hope you enjoy everybody's. I know I do. I gotta go back and watch everybody's now because I've been busy all week. Catch you later. Have a great one.